Hi guys, Cam at Battler back again. Just thought I'd give a little update on what we're doing in the workshop, and this will be over Christmas, so there's not going to be much in the way of machining, so we're just going to put the slaughter job on the back burner for a little while. But at the moment I've got all the furniture, well, most of the furniture out of my office at the moment, and we're doing some extra work. I'm putting an extra 2 piles down to support the back end of the shed. And I'll take you outside and show you the reason why I'm doing the 2 extra piles. So fortunately I don't need to take everything out. I'm able to leave my bookcases in, so that's saved me an awful lot. But I'm coring down by hand with the hand auger, and I go down at 2.2 metres deep into this, which is where we bell mouth it out at the base with the bell mouthing tool, and you will have seen that in my previous videos if you had a look at those, how I bell that out to around about a 165mm hole we put down, and I bell mouth the base out to about 500mm. So it's quite a large bell mouth foot we put down the bottom. So I had the core driller come over yesterday, and he's popped a couple of cores out for me. That's going to allow me to put those new piles in place. Now you can see, well, just over here, I think hopefully you can see, I had a pile down there, or what was going to be a pile, and another one underneath there in the bookcase, another one just there, another one over there with the leg. Now this job would have been absolutely fine had those worked. What I ended up doing was I ended up having to go down, it ended up going down onto an old foundation, which is the old shed foundation underneath, which wasn't stable. And I thought it would be okay, but when I did load it up, put the load on it, it actually pushed the old foundation down, and the shed continued to sink. So I ended up putting on the outside a number of fairly large piles outside on each corner, and that's what's currently supporting the back end of the shed. But I want to put an extra 2 piles in, and I might say too that it's been a year since I did that and it hasn't moved. I survey that at least once a week. I'll take you outside and show you why I'm putting these extra belts and braces into place. That's for a job we're going to be doing at the back of the shed, so I'll just slip you outside. It's a little bit hard to see, but I have a core hole down through there, and I've got to be very, very careful because I actually have the easement, the sewerage easement, running right along the edge of the shed, about 2.2 metres down. So I need to make sure that I keep a nice clear pathway, and I don't impinge on that in any way, shape or form, because it is the old terracotta style sewerage lines that are underneath here. But what I'm going to use this area for, when I do get it all cleaned up, that brick wall is going to go, I'm going to be pouring a new slab here, and this new slab is going to be for my foundry that I'm going to set up on a much smaller scale to what I had previously. But my thought is, or my problem is, that this old slab, which is here, which is the old shed slab, is very unstable. It's on very, very reactive clay, and it moves around all over the place. So when I pour the slab over the top, I'll be making it independent. I'll be putting a sheet of plastic over the top of that, thick plastic, to isolate it from this particular shed floor, and I'm going to pin it back onto the edge beam of the shed to support it, so that it takes the load off. And hence I'm going to be loading up the back end of the shed with a little bit more weight, and that's the reason I want to put the extra piles in, just to cover that. I've already drawn up and had it all costed to get the materials for the new shed, so it's a specific design to suit this area that I've done. So it's columns, beams and all the sheeting, and I will be putting a small crane in here because I do loco number plates, cast up loco number plates, and the core boxes for those, I should say the mold boxes for those, are very, very heavy, so you need to be able to lift and flip them around. Underneath there you can see a couple of the mullers that I own. We had 4 mullers all together in the old foundry, but I've got 2 of them. That was going to be a ramming bench, which it may still be, but yeah, a fair bit of cleaning up to do here. But that's the idea, is I want to make this into a into my little foundry, or at least store the stuff in here for the foundry, and I can do the melt outside. And underneath this corner, though, you can't see it because I've got it covered up with all the rain we've been having, is the other pile that I've got down this corner, which is jacking up the back end of the shed and supporting it. Mind you, there are a number of rows all the way up the shed, so it's not just these two, I guess, fully supporting it. But anyway, that's the plan. I'll take you back through little snippets as we core down and go through the process. As I said, if you want to fast track that, you can go back to my my videos that I did on lifting this this slab up and stabilising it, because it had sunk around about 80 millimetres at the back, and it was continuing to sink at a rate of about 1 millimetre a month. And that's just due to this really reactive clay that we're on. And that reactive clay runs for a band of around about 1.5 to 1.7 metres. So hence the need to go down 2.2. Alright guys, so that's where we're at. I'll bring you back little snippets as we go through the process. Alright guys, so we've gone down probably about 700 mil, I reckon. A couple of great things so far is that the soil is really dry. So what I'm digging out of here is really dry. When I initially did this was just absolutely saturated. So, and that was all the water runoff coming from my neighbour's property, which has now been fixed up with gutters and a stripped footing of concrete to stop the any egress of water underneath the slab. So it's certainly dried it out. Now, I'm cutting a very fine line here. You'll notice just over here I've got a hole, and I drilled a series of holes along here before I cored this out. That particular hole, I hit the foundation, the old foundation, but what I also had was the storm water pipe, and you can probably see it. See the edge, there it is there. That's the old that's the storm water pipe. So I've actually spotted a place in between the old concrete foundation. That foundation runs down for 600 millimetres from ground level, so I'm sort of getting to where the bottom of that would be now. So it's been a fairly fine line to get that hole spotted in such a place that I miss the old foundation, and I also miss the stormwater drain there. Let me show you while we're here. I've got this strip of piles that I put in right across the back as well. So there's a total of 29 piles altogether in the shed, and hopefully these are going to be the last two. So yeah, it's a fairly fine thread to get that hole through. What I will have to do with that storm water is to pack that with foam so that it's independent of the concrete. So if the concrete moves, it's not going to crack that storm water pipe. All right, we'll keep going. Hopefully no more major surprises, but that was one I was expecting at some stage as we went down. But I'm very happy that this is bone dry here. We'll see what it's like as we get further down. So far we're down about 800 millimetres, and it's hard going. This stuff here is pretty dry compared to what I did 12 months ago. I've actually had to sharpen the blades up on the auger and trying to get them to cut. It's very hard. I'll show you what we're doing. What has been a problem as I drag this up out of the hole, the clay has been falling out. I've had to dig it up by hand, so it's been slow going. But there we go. And just dump it into this bucket here. That's how we go. I'm only going to go a little bit further with this, then I'll need a side cut underneath the slab here, side cut out here, so I can get my strong backs through, down and up under. That's what I screw down onto the sole plate, which is mounted on top of the concrete pile when we put it in. So, but it's hard going. So I'll just go a little bit further down, and then I'll start doing the side cutting, which is also very hard work. So I'll keep going. Go handheld here, but what I've done is I've undercut right up underneath here and up on this side as well, so that I can get that strong back in underneath. So I'm cutting the strong back to length now, and I cut some bevels on the edges just to help it sit in a lot better, and we'll use that as a gauge as to how much we've got to cut out. We've got to take out all that overburden that's fallen back in the hole that we've taken out of there. But so we've got my favourite machine cutting away here, and unfortunately I just snapped my coarse bandsaw blade, which is a bit of a pain. So I've got the fine one on here at the moment, but yeah, that'll do the job. So that's getting cut the length now, and then we'll cut a bevel across here on both sides, which just helps to get into the hole a little bit easier. Alright, so we'll come back when we've got that all shaped up. So I've got two of these to cut, so I'll do those. We'll come back after we've got these shaped up, and we'll see how they start to fit. Alright, we'll see if this is going to show up right. As I said, I was going to bevel these ends, and I only do that so that I can get it to fit in a lot better, but because this slab is already 80mm up off the ground, there's a fair gap there to start with when I've cut away. So you sit it down inside here like that. I'll slide it up inside and slide it back, and it sits underneath the slab like that. So I've got a nearly great big nut, or plate and nut welded on the other side that goes down onto a sole plate onto the concrete pile, and we just screw it up. So I do weld some tabs on the ends here, just so it's got point loading on either end, because the slab is a little bit all over the place underneath, so it just helps stabilise a little bit having those tabs on. So right, I'm happy with that. We'll continue digging. We'll get all this overburden out down inside there, which is a pain, and then we'll go down now roughly 2.2 metres, and then yeah, we get our rebar packs made up, and then we'll foam off that side there where the stormwater is, so that we don't impinge into the concrete. We isolate it, and then we get rid of the pore. So alright, I'm happy with that. I'll try and get a fair bit of this done tonight, but I won't get it all done. It's a fair bit of work to get down there, and this clay, as I said, is really dry and hard, so I'll be interested to see if it softens up as we go through. Yeah, the easiest way I found to clean a hole that I can't reach down to is with the shop vac, and it does a really good job. Right, that is now come down to the base, because I can't reach my hands down that far. So yeah, just push the vac tube down, and does a good job. Alright, we'll keep going. Alright guys, this will be the last cut for the night. We're about just over a metre down now. So I'll soon be taking this extension off and putting a longer extension on. But the clay has changed. It's a little bit softer, which makes it a little bit easier to get through. But it's certainly nothing like it was 12 months ago. I feel like we're getting somewhere now. So that's a bucket full. But it's certainly not stiff. It comes away pretty easy compared to where we were 12 months ago. So that's that soil has dried out considerably. As I said, I think that's all due to the fact that we sorted out a lot of the water shedding issues that were coming from the next door neighbour. Mike allowed me to put some guttering up on one of his sheds and run it with storm water. And as I said, I put a concrete footing down between the fence and the side of my shed because we've only got about a 6-inch gap. So go back and have a look at my previous videos about the jigs I made up to actually get that down. Oh gosh, it's probably about 8 metres through a tube, and that worked really well to deliver it just where I needed it. But that's what's coming out now. It's still fairly dry, so I'm really happy with that. Right, as I said, we're just over a metre down, so I'm going to pack it in for the night, and we'll come back tomorrow, and or Saturday, and tomorrow's Friday, we'll come back maybe Saturday, and we'll get that finished out. We'll start on the second one, and we'll get set up for concreting. Alright guys, we'll see you soon.